Our story this series takes place in Katy, Texas. It's April 27th of 2019, and it's late in the evening, about 7 p.m. A 21-year-old college student named Zahir is at his home with his best friend. They are patiently waiting for additional friends to join them because they are supposed to be leaving for San Antonio that evening as a group. As they are waiting, Zahir, also known as Z, receives a phone call. He puts it on speakerphone, and Z's friend would later recall a man requested to purchase 2 pounds of marijuana. Now, as Z's friends would testify at trial, Z would often sell small quantities of weed, but the request for 2 pounds was enough to trigger alarm bells. So Z would load 2 pounds into his book bag, also grabbing his gun for protection. He jumped in his white Honda and off he went. His friend, who sat at Z's house waiting for him to return, would never see Z again. Over the course of the next year, Z's brothers would be critical to the investigation of missing Zahir Kaleem. The investigation would take some time, but the brothers wanted answers for themselves and for their parents, who were clinging to hope. As they posted on social media, desperately hoping someone would come forward to tell them something about their little brother, they decided to take action for themselves, using their backgrounds in software engineering in an attempt to assist the authorities in the investigation. Using their brother's laptop and social media accounts, they were able to identify an interesting contact for the evening in question. They found a man, 21-year-old Jose Varela, to be the contact that called Z and requested the 2 pounds of weed. Also uncovered was the fact that Jose was a former classmate of Z's at Cypress Lakes High School. They bring Jose Varela in for an interview, and he gives the names of 2 other men. One is 22-year-old Eric Aguilar, and the other 21-year-old Austin Walker. Walker is the subject of this interrogation, and he is brought in to explain his involvement with the disappearance of Zahir. Austin is going to start the interview with a mask on, but they're going to take it off pretty quick. So if you're worried about not being able to hear him because of the mask, that's not something you have to worry about. Just wait a couple minutes, the mask will come off.
There's a couple more. I found the bottle of supplements cool. A couple hours. Awesome. Hey, water at this point. My head's starting to hurt. Yeah. All right. And I know you probably wonder what's going on, and I'll explain everything to you. Yeah. Before I do that, I need your rights. It's our protocol for talking to you, all right? Okay. I'm gonna read you understand English, read, write English. Yeah. Okay. Time now is 8:46 p.m. All right. Okay. You do the case number 1904. That's 09530. Once again, I'm going to explain everything to you. You're right. Okay. When I read them to you, just tell me yes, you understand me. If you don't understand, then I explain it to you, all right? All right. What is your full name? Oscar Michael Walker. What's your date of birth? All right. Okay. So, you have the right to remain silent and may not make any statement at all. Any statement you make may be used against you in trial. Do you understand? Yeah. All right. Any statement that you make may be used as evidence against you in court. Do you understand? Yes. Okay. You have the right to have a lawyer present to you prior to doing any questions. Do you understand? Okay. If you're unable to afford a lawyer, you have a right to have a lawyer appointed to you, advise you prior to doing any questions. Do you understand? Yes. Okay. And you have the right to terminate the interview anytime. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to make this a long, drawn-out process. Where were you raised? Where was I raised? Yeah. Where are you from? Well, I was born in Virginia Beach, and okay. My dad was in the Navy. Okay. So we ended up moving around every few years. We went from Virginia to Georgia, back to Virginia, and from there we went to Guam, and then Hawaii. Oh, wow. Okay, so you traveled a lot. Okay. Yeah. And then after that, my dad retired there in Hawaii. We moved up to Oklahoma, lived with my grandparents for a few months. That's actually where I was. You stayed with grandma, so you're not in Houston anymore. Okay. How long were you in Houston? I want to say it was like 8 or 9 years. I went through high school, 1 year in middle school, 4 years of high school, and I say it's maybe 2-3 years. I really don't remember when that was.
No, what high school did you go to?
I went to Cy Falls.
Cy Falls, okay. All right. And when did you move to Oklahoma?
I moved to Oklahoma the beginning of October.
Okay. All right.
October. I'm sorry,
last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
my bad.
All right. And you're staying with your grandparents there?
Yeah.
Who lives here now? Who still stays here?
My mom, well, stepmom.
Okay.
And biological dad.
Your stepmom and biological dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you having siblings?
I have I want to say half sisters.
Half sisters.
The technical term.
But no, you're like only child or maybe your mom and father?
Yeah, from my biological parents.
Okay. All right. Have you, what type of vehicle you got?
I used to have a truck, but right now I don't have a vehicle.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
that's your truck, okay.
Yeah.
How long do you have that truck?
How long did I have it?
Yeah.
I'd say it's close to a year and a half.
Year and a half? What happened to it?
When I was up in Oklahoma, I ended up wrecking it.
Bad?
Yeah, it was a total loss.
You make it out okay?
Surprisingly, all I had was a mark on my neck from the seatbelt.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm investigating,
Mm-hmm.
and I've looked at your history. You don't have a bad history. You got DWLI and the deal that you had in Oklahoma, which was what, DWI or something like that?
Yeah, DUI.
Yeah, so you don't have a bad history.
Yeah, that's where that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I've been talking to some people that you know. Okay.
Okay.
Matter of fact, one of them very highly of you. He's probably relying on you. All right. You know his kid?
Yeah.
Who is he?
Jose.
Okay. Jose what?
Varela.
Okay. How long have you known Jose?
I haven't known him for too terribly long. And actually, at this point in time, I don't really talk to him
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew him. I don't remember when I met him.
Oh, really? Did y'all go to high school together?
No, I met him through another friend, old friend.
Old friend? Are you still friends with that person?
No.
Okay. You know who is that person? Do you mind me asking?
It's Eric.
Eric.
Eric Aguilar.
Eric Aguilar. Okay. So I'm talking to Jose yesterday. Matter of fact, he said where you're sitting right now. Okay. Jose has found himself in a little bit of trouble. All right. Your name came up. Okay. And so did that Eric Aguilar guy that you're talking about. All right. Even if you're not friends with him anymore, he speaks very highly of you. Matter of fact, he said you're like a brother to him. I don't know that because I don't know you. I don't know him. I don't know what changed from whatever he's saying. He's talking about he's known you for a while. Y'all been close friends for a while. I am investigating a kid that went missing. Okay. He went missing last year, back in April, late April. Okay. I was talking to Jose, and I know this kid came by Jose's house. Okay. I know that Varela stated that you and Eric were there. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what would happen in the conversation because I'm trying to believe this kid. He doesn't seem like a bad kid. I don't know. I wasn't raised with him. He's not my brother. But from what I can tell, he's saying that you would be able to verify what he's talking about. Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've been over to his house many times,
Okay.
but the only time I've ever been over there and remember anybody else being over there is
Yeah, well, on this particular day, Jose went down to Mexico. Okay. And you picked him up and brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I've been to Mexico multiple times. There was one time I went down there to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why I was picking him up.
Okay. Now you have to understand, Austin, like I said, he's in a bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what I know, you could be in a little bit of trouble. Okay. I gave him the opportunity to be honest with me. Now, you understand, I wouldn't have you sitting here. There's like 3.7 million people in Harris County. I wouldn't have had you brought here and had him brought here if I didn't know what was going on. Okay. When I talk to people, more time than likely, the truth helps their character. Okay. And that helps me to see which way I'm gonna go with this. Okay. I know what happened that day. I know what happened that day. I've talked to him for 4 hours yesterday. Okay. I know why you went down to pick him up from Mexico. I have backgrounds on everybody that I'm looking at, including you. You're awesome 5'5" Okay. I know this. So if I ask you a question, be honest with me. And I it works better that way. Okay. On that particular day, why did you go pick him up?
He said he wanted me to follow him down there in a car that he had with him.
What kind of car was you driving that day?
I don't remember what kind of car it was.
I have pictures of you and him coming back from across the border. I got a picture going across the border. What car did he have that day? What color was it?
I think it might have been white.
Okay. Did he tell you why he was taking that car down there?
No.
Did he tell you where he was taking the car? No. Okay. Did he ask you anything specific when you were going to pick him up?
No.
Like when you were going to pick him up, did he call you and say, hey, come pick him up in Mexico? How did you know where to go?
Yeah. I actually, if I remember correctly, he went down there and then he told me before he left, he was gonna need to come pick him up from the border.
The border. And did you know specifically where he was going to go, or how did that work out?
Well, like I said before, we've been to Mexico a few times.
With him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Me, him, and Eric Aguilar.
Okay.
Had been to Mexico, just down there having fun.
Do you have people down there, or you have people down there?
They've got some things down there.
Do you know specifically where y'all went to Mexico when you went down there a few times?
It's either Progreso or Reynosa.
Okay.
I want to say it's Progreso.
Okay. Because there's Progreso on Texas side and there's Progreso on Mexico side, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, so you go down there to pick him up. And did he tell you why he was taking the car down there? On that day, did you go, where were you coming from when you picked him up? Were you coming from home?
I don't remember where I was coming from.
Or was it like, hey, I need you to come pick me up from Mexico? How did the call go? That's what I'm asking.
I really
You don't remember? Okay. So you pick him up, where do you take him from there?
we just brought him back to you.
Right back to himself. Did you see Eric during that time?
Yeah, Eric came just up with my side.
You and Eric drove to Mexico to pick?
I thought Eric was, if I remember correctly, Eric was with us when we came back. And I thought hell, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember seeing Eric.
No. Okay.
No, I don't.
And you said, are you friends with Eric too?
No.
Okay. But you're not friends with this kid either?
No.
Okay. Who did you know first, him or Eric?
I knew Eric first.
Eric first. Okay. Where do you know Eric from?
I met him through his brother,
Who's his brother?
Michael Schumacher.
So you're friends with Michael Schumacher?
That's another one I used to be friends with him.
It's not to get too much in your business. I may ask you why you don't want friends anymore. Or, if you don't mind me asking.
Long story short, there's this one girl that I was broken up with, and we had gotten together after they'd been broken up for about a month, and he got
upset about it?
Yeah,
Did you stay with that girl, or was it a fly-by-night type deal where?
Well, it originally was planning to be a fly-by-night kind of thing.
So you still with her?
No, I'm not with her anymore. I
But you
broke
know-
up with her before I moved up with her.
But you don't want to have a friend. But you don't want to have a friend.
Correct.
Who is that?
That's Eric.
That's Eric. Eric Ambeloy. All right. So you go down and pick up Brother and bring him back to Washington. Did you ever say why you had to go down south Mexico? You didn't mention anything about it?
No.
Okay. You remember how many times he called you that day?
No, I don't.
Was it one time, 2 times? Was it weird he called you that day, or was it weird for him to call you after you pick him up from Mexico?
No, not really.
No.
No.
You had done it before, or?
No, I hadn't done it before, but it just kind of was. It was one of those okay, do whatever type of thing.
Okay. Okay. So, as I said before, I've did my research on you. I did my research on him. I did my research on Eric. You and Brother have 42 conversations that day, actually 50 conversations, including phone calls. Some of which are Snapchat messages, some of which are cell phone messages and cell phone calls. In other words, I got a picture of you with sharks, catching sharks. That's how much I know. Okay? So I know for a fact you had to bring him clothes that day. He told me you brought him clothes that day. He told me why you brought him clothes that day. What I'm trying to do.
Well, now that you say that, I do remember that.
But I also know that you were at his house before that. I know all this. I'm verifying what you told me already. Okay. All I can ask you to do is to be straight and honest with me, because that will determine which way this goes. Okay. Tell me exactly. Also, let me explain it this way. I sat in front of him yesterday. He came across me as a good. I think people do stuff to survive. Right? I mean, everybody got to hustle sometimes. Even you have a hustle. I already know what that hustle is, or was before you went to Oklahoma. I know this. I'm not a dope cop. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I am working a missing person. Okay? And I have done everything. Matter of fact, it'll be a year in 2 days. Okay? I have done research on everybody, including you. From cell phone records to Snapchat messages to whatever. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if I've already looked at stuff, and I've talked to someone who used to be your friend for 3-4 hours yesterday, who came clean on everything, okay? I would prefer you to not try to redirect what I ask you, or say, oh, it was this, when I know more, because I already know the story. So when I ask you, I just want you to tell me what happened from your words. I'd rather go with your words versus what he says or what Eric is saying. Okay? Tell me about that day.
I really don't remember what the hell all went on that day. Okay. What happened that day is Eric and Jose were in contact with a friend of theirs that they wanted to come over to their house.
Right.
Okay. I was sitting outside in my truck across the street. Or down across the street, down the road a little bit. Got pulled up, went in the garage closed. Got up. After that. Then, if I remember correctly, it was Eric. Came out of the garage, got in his car, and then Jose drove off.
Okay. What happened after that?
If I remember right, after that, I waited a few hours and then went to go picked them up from it. No, I honestly don't remember that. I don't remember when it was after that I left to go pick them up from it.
And I appreciate you being honest with me. This is stuff I already knew, okay? I just want to make sure you weren't going to be charged with something that you didn't do, okay? But I do need specifics from you, okay? For some reason, even if y'all aren't friends, he's retired. I wouldn't just feed you that. Jose, I did talk to Jose for like 4 hours yesterday, okay? But I need you to give me specifics, because if you give me specifics, that'll help me determine which way our conversation goes, okay? All right. Who called you over there?
We were actually all hanging out. We all had data. It was me, Eric, Jay, and actually Eric's girlfriend at the time, who was the girl that.
What's her name?
Juanita.
Okay.
I have no idea what that was.
Okay.
But we were actually all hanging out earlier that day. We were going to go to like an arcade.
Okay.
And
like a David Buster's or something like that, or
yeah, I forgot what it's called, but
okay.
An arcade of sorts.
Okay.
And then they said, "Hey, we need to go back to the base."
Back to the base. Okay. What happens next?
What happens next is.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, you're outside, down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why are you down the street?
They want me to work.
They want you to wait down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Did they say why? It seems
they wanted me to tell them when he was coming.
Okay.
I really didn't know why. I didn't question it. Probably should have.
Okay. But, so they basically want you to look out for when this guy came.
Yeah.
What was he driving? The guy that came.
Like I said, I remember it being a white. I think it was a white 4-door sedan.
Okay. So he pulls up. Where are you exactly? Because you know the front of that house is on one street, and the back of the house is in the end of a cul-de-sac. And you pull into the garage. Where were you?
I was, if this is the cul-de-sac, the house is here.
Right.
I was down the street over here.
Okay. All right. So when the white car comes, does he pull into the garage or does he pull on outside of the garage?
He pulled me outside.
Outside of the garage. What's inside the garage?
Jose, Eric, and Jose's car.
Jose's car, which is go away. What kind of car does Jose drive?
I've worked on that car many times. It's a black Mustang.
Black Mustang, okay. Is it, and you may not know, but I want to know if you remember, is it pulled in backwards, or is it facing out, or is it pulled in?
I don't remember.
Okay, all right, so they have you looking at it. The guy pulls up, tell me what happens next.
Like I said, the garage opens, the guy gets out of his car, walks in, and the garage closes.
The garage closes. What happens after that?
I think I hear gunshots.
How many?
I don't remember.
Was it more than one?
It was many.
More than one, okay. So you hear gunshots, what happens next?
I'd say probably more than one, maybe less than 10.
Less than 10, okay. All right.
Just kind of have to guess.
Which is fine,
And then what happens next is I see, like I said, if I remember correctly, it was Eric, not in the garage. And give me the car.
Which car?
The white car.
The white car, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then he drives away, and so does,
Where
his car.
In his car? Mm-hmm. And where do you go?
I don't remember where I went after that.
Okay. That's not the story of they give me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I need you to try to remember, where did you go? Did you go inside the garage? I even know why you brought Jose clothes. I know why. Okay. I know all this. But the problem I'm going to have is if you tell me one story, and Jose tells me another story, and Eric Cecilia Aguilar tells me another story. That's where there's going to be the issue, Because if you put it this way, to me, on paper, it looks like 3 people are involved in something which I consider is considered a capital murder. Okay. However, if you were in a position where you saw stuff and know what happened, but you weren't involved in it in that sense, there's an idea of being a witness versus a defendant. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. Okay. Now, like I said, you spoke highly of me, but I can't have your story not match his, because that means that one of you two aren't telling me the full truth. And then there's stuff that I know happened from my own investigation, from going through your cell phone. I need this physical phone. Okay. I got messages about the mom being on drugs and the husband, only around her because of the drug. I know this stuff. So when I tell you I know stuff, I know stuff. I'm not just speaking to you. This is not something that Jose would know, right? This would be a message that you sent to someone else. I got the messages that occurred that day. Okay. So I need you to be completely honest with me. I want to believe in you. I'm giving you a shot to be honest with me. Okay. So I want you to start from the beginning. And I appreciate you talking to me. I appreciate you giving me some of the story. You're not giving me the whole story. Okay. Tell me as much as you remember, and you have to be specific. Okay. Can we try that again? Okay. So who called you over that day?
Like I said, we were all hanging out.
Okay.
Beforehand, we were planning on going to an arcade.
Okay.
Okay. Then they said, hey, it's overtime. I sit in my truck down the street. White car pulls up. Inside of the white car.
Okay.
Goes in the garage closes. Gunshot. Then Eric comes back out of the garage. Eric comes back out of the garage, gets in my car. Then he pulls away in the white car. And then Jose pulls away in his car.
Yeah, Jose pulled away in his own car, the Mustang?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the body?
I would assume Jose's car.
Jose's car. Okay. You tell me about a place, Jose told me about a place up near the Renaissance Festival area. He says you know where it is. Eric said you know where it is. See, the problem that I'm having here is that I have to.
I remember what I did after we left it that day.
Okay, what happened?
They brought the body up to a friend, an old friend of, I guess, mine and Eric's, to get rid of.
Okay, who's that? Where is it? This is what I have to do, okay? Because I have the parent of this kid calling me every Friday since the day he died. And they call on the phone every Friday since the day he died. And I don't judge anybody for it. I don't care if y'all sell dope. I wish y'all didn't use dope. But I do have to bring that family closer. I told Jose that yesterday. He took us out there. He couldn't just figure out exactly what it was. He said, you knew when he said everything. And he said, you specifically knew. He said, it's a friend. There's some.
Eric specifically.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying. Where would I find that body?
I don't know an address, but I can give you a name of the guy who lives there.
Okay.
I have no idea how the hell we got there. We ended up taking back roads and 2-lane country roads to get there. And I don't remember how to get there. I don't remember where it was.
I'm depending on you to get the family close. I'm giving you a shot. Okay? I don't make deals with people. But I am not above telling the DA's office he was very helpful to the investigation. I think this is the portion he did versus overall picture, do I think he's a cold-blooded killer? No. Do I think he shot the kid? No. I think he was probably trying to help friends out of a bad situation, is what I believe. But at the end of the day, I got to answer to that family of his. Okay. It's the same thing I would do for you. It's the same thing I would do for Jose. You know, who shot the kid? And you know, we had multiple conversations with everybody in there. Why do you think Derek shot the kid? Be honest with me.
The reason that I knew about was hoping that he had not.
If you're enjoying the video up to this point, do me a favor, hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Let's take our one and only commercial break on this video.
Is that why they shot him? Because he had money on him? Did he have any money on him? Be honest with me.
I remember him having some. I don't remember how much it was. And I do remember it wasn't as much as he did cocaine.
And what happened with that money?
I don't remember that.
Did you get some of the money?
I think they ended up using that money to pay the guy who took the body.
To get the body? You know, it takes people with a conscience to do what you're doing. You know that, right? You understand that, right? Okay. I'm just, you know, I don't see. I've sat here. I've been a homicide detective for a very long time. Okay. I've sat in front of cold-blooded killers. I have. People who have no conscience, who didn't care, thought it was a whole lot of nothing, have no value for someone else's life, right? I know that you sold them, or did. I know that. I know where, I know what you sold, I know that. Don't care. It's not my business. That's your hustle. As long as you don't get caught doing it, that's on you, you know. Did you ever do anything you deserve to die? You understand what I'm saying? What did you do other than come to be a plug for them to deserve to die that day? You understand what? So, you know, I can't judge people for what they do. You know, maybe some people do stuff and deserve to be shot or killed in what they're doing that particular day. I don't think that day this kid deserved to die. He was doing exactly what they asked him to do. Sold some dope. What conversations did you have with Jose about what happened? Y'all spoke 50 times. 50 times. Everything from you having him asking you to bring him shirts and pants and shoes and make sure it's cheap, nothing major to. I have these conversations. He didn't have to tell me that. Did he tell me that? Yes, he did. And I'm happy he did because I could have called him in a lie. I had those conversations. I had the physical conversations. I've been reading them for almost a year now.
I don't remember what we done.
Yeah. Before they had you stand or sit outside, wait for this guy to come, what was the conversation about what was going to happen when this guy came?
Was me involved? There wasn't much of a conversation. They, kind of just told me, hey, we got this guy coming. Can you sit out there and let us know when he comes?
Okay. And you did that. Where was you at this time?
She was actually sitting outside of the house. Like, if this was the cul-de-sac again and the house is over here, she was sitting on the curb out here.
Okay.
On the edge of the cul-de-sac.
Okay. And what happened to her after the shooting happened?
She got into the white car with her.
She got into the white car with her.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go at that point in time? Because you're in the truck. You start to follow him?
No. I went to Walmart, got some bleach, and paper towels, went in the garage
You cleaned up.
the mess.
I knew that because your phone stayed by his house the entire time while you were driving up north. Where was the blood that you cleaned? What area was it in? Do you remember?
What area of the garage?
Yeah, what area it was. So if the door to the garage leading to the backyard is right here, then they had a long footstep. And then the garage door this way, where did the blood at?
This side of the garage and a little bit along by the door.
Oh, the garage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you
So
cleaned.
I guess that would mean the car was parked forward, because you did ask me that earlier.
Right. Where, you know where you put the body to?
And, well, like I said, I'm assuming the trunk of Jose's car.
Trunk of Jose's car, okay. So they take off up north.
Mm-hmm.
Who's having a conversation with the guy who's going to deliver the body for him? Is it Eric? Or is it Jose? Is it?
I think it was Eric. Matter of fact, I'd say it pretty much had to be Eric, because Eric and I were the only ones that knew the guy.
Okay.
They don't know him from a previous job again.
What type of job?
Like where we were.
Okay.
Okay, all
right, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, Eric's in conversation with the guy who goes up north. When did you go up north?
I don't remember going up north that day. I know I did go up north once with Eric and Jose. With Penny.
The next day?
It might have been the next day.
I saw you same spot that they were in the very next day, about 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and the next day it sounds right.
How much did they pay him?
I don't know what they paid him money-wise, but I know they gave him a pretty good amount of leave.
Okay. Was it the kids' week?
Yeah. And that was good.
What happened to the rest of the week?
Eric ended up telling him.
Sorry.
Yeah, I tried to help him where I could, but I was working at the time, so I really wasn't able to help him very much.
So, who's this guy up north? How would I know who he is or how to contact him?
Like I said, I know his name.
What's his name?
His name is, Gannon.
G-A-N-O-N?
Gannon. And I believe his last name is Gottlee, I believe.
How old is he?
I have no idea.
Your age, older, younger?
He's about my age. I think he's a little older.
You older than you?
Mm-hmm.
And you are 21, 22?
21.
Yeah. And how do you know him?
Through a previous job that we had.
What type of work?
It was we were working at a company called Spooltech. Spooltech.
Spooltech?
Yeah.
Spell it for me.
Spooltpch.
What were you doing there?
We were making. Well, when I met, we were making wooden spools.
Wooden spools?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I think that was like early 2018, if I remember right.
2018. How long did you work there?
I worked there for about 6 months. Eric didn't work there for that long, for as long as I did.
Okay.
Neither did Gannon. Or if you looked at one, I don't remember how long.
White, black, Hispanic, yeah.
He's a white.
White kid.
Yeah, white kid.
How many times have you ever met Gannon?
I mean, besides working with him, other than that, I never met him outside of work, except that one night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you got a little place up there. I know that Schumacher got a little place. Just in Houston somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ranch.
Magnolia.
Yeah, Magnolia. Yeah. Is that what this kid has as well?
I don't know. When I went up there, it was dark.
It's dark.
Yeah, it was dark, and I didn't even get out of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
We came out to the truck, and yeah.
Where was you? So when you went up there in your truck, you followed them up there?
No. When I went up there in the truck, it was just us, it was us all in the truck.
You, Jose, and Eric. Okay.
And I think Juanita might have been in too.
Okay.
I don't remember for sure, but
Juanita still like you?
we don't.
When I say like you, is she mad at you? Would she say, would she lie to you? Would she lie on you? Would she?
I really don't know.
And the reason why I say this is because I'm gonna have to pull people in, just like I had to verify what Varela told me.
Mm-hmm.
I got to verify what you tell me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know you've been honest with me because I know a lot of this already. I know this stuff. This before you Varela told me what happened. Okay, I know you've been honest with me. Okay, there's some stuff you're still leaving out. I knew that you went in the house and cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that. And then I see you go back over to Highway 6 Lobby Train there.
Yeah, that was our
What?
I think I might have. I think the reason, I don't remember exactly why I went back over there. Yeah, I did stay in the house and clean. I went back to lock the train. But I don't remember the reason. But it was one of two reasons.
Okay.
It was either because I had everything that they had gotten from the kid.
Okay.
And I think that's what it was. Was I had everything that they'd gotten from him. After, I don't remember how long it was after that, but I actually moved to Georgia to go live with my biological mom.
How that work out?
Well, that's when I found out she was not calling my dad. And yeah, you saw. Yeah, that's. I didn't know her until then.
Right.
Then I moved back and stayed with my parents for a little while, if I remember right. Then that thing with me and his girl happened, and he ended up staying in the truck for a few days and found some other ways, which was one of my old coworkers. That's fine.
Okay. Would you say you had a rough life, or up and down life?
I wouldn't say it was a rough life.
Seems like you're like, to me, it looks like you like somebody who likes to get up and work every day. It don't seem like you're the lazy, want to hang out and smoke weed and do nothing with your life type person. That's what you appear to be. I mean, I just met you.
That's funny you say that because that's where I picked up from. I was at work.
That's what I get out. That's it. I picked up Ralph Road. He looked like somebody who probably was in band. Somebody who played an instrument. Probably talented at it, but he also chose to do other stuff that didn't lead him in the right direction. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I picked up from him. And I appreciate you being honest with me. I do. I'm not just saying that. I really do, because it actually helps your character. It helps your credibility with me. Okay? I'm willing to trust what you tell me versus me having to come back and say, well, he lied to me about this. And I can prove he lied to me about this. Or he didn't tell me this. Or he's trying to fudge this just to make him look better in this situation. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because there's only one thing that really matters, and that's me recovering that kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it. I got to give his family closure. I have to. It's not about me. It's not about you. I don't get a mark on the board for solving the case. It's about giving that family closure. Because at some point in time, let me put it this way. His mom called me every Friday. And up until about a month ago, she was still paying his insurance on his car because she thinks he's possibly coming back. I've done this long enough to know he's not coming back. But I'm not going to take a little bit of hope from her that her son won't come back. Even though I know. I already know what happened. I know who's involved. Right? I know this.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't just tell her, yeah, don't pay that anymore. So, yeah, I'm going to say, hey, this is what happened. Some of these people went to jail. But it's a whole lot better when I can let them bury his ashes or bury his whatever's left of him.
My understanding of the bones, from what I heard happened to the body, I heard that it would burn and then the bones buried.
He was burned and the bones were buried. And who said that?
If I remember right, Eric told me that.
Okay.
And he would have heard that from Gannon.
Yeah. Okay. I give you a shot to redeem yourself, brother. If I have someone take you out there, you think you get the idea of where it went, we're not going to go before and say, hey, Gannon, that's not the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
We just want a general area or a location where we will look next. Okay? You think you could pull that off? I know you know the area. How did you get there the next time? Because your truck went there.
Yeah, and it was Eric. I wish I could tell you yes, but I don't think I would be able to get back there.
Whose gun was it?
It was Jose's deceased grandpa.
Right.
Yeah, grandpa.
And how do we know it?
I guess I seen. I seen it previously.
Same day?
No, not the same day. Like days before.
You know what happened with that gun?
That gun was sold.
To I remember talking to Jose. So who was it sold to?
It was sold, actually, he inherited it and sold it to another old coworker of ours who actually ended up working at the same company.
And who's that coworker?
I knew him by Columbia, or what, Richard. I knew him by Richard.
Richard what?
I don't know what his last name was.
Did Richard go to Columbia?
No, I don't think so.
So why did he call him Columbia?
Or because it was Columbia.
Columbia?
Yeah.
What did Richard say?
I don't know.
What type of gun was it?
I think it was a Smith & Wesson.
What caliber?
I want to say it was either a 45 or a 90.
And who wrote that school tattoo?
Richard, yes.
How much you got sold it for? You don't remember? Okay. How long after the first shooting did that got sold?
I want to say it was a week or two.
Week or two?
Yeah. It wasn't too terribly long. It was no longer than a month.
Month, okay. When you talked to Eric, what did Eric say happened?
Let me add to that
Yeah.
as well. That gun wasn't the only gun that was sold
His gun, the guy's gun, he had one on him as well. That was also sold as well.
What type of gun is that?
With, I don't know what type of gun.
Was it sold to Richard as well?
Yeah.
And y'all talked about what happened in the garage. What did they say happened in the garage?
They just told me that Eric shot him. Well, they told me that Eric shot him with the Smith & Wesson. And then when there was a point where there was like a struggle, and Jose was holding the guy down, and then the guy tried to pull his gun on Eric, and then Eric grabbed the gun from him, and then I guess shot him more.
It was all gun.
Yeah.
So Eric shot him the first time with Jose's gun,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jose tried to hold him down, and then there was a struggle. I'm just trying to make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Eric shot him with Jose's gun.
Yeah.
Jose tried to hold the kid down.
Yeah.
And then there was a struggle, and the kids reported.
Because from what I heard, Eric ran out of ammo on his gun.
Ran out of ammo on his gun.
Or Jose's gun.
Out of Jose's gun. So then they take the guy's gun to his reaching for it.
Yeah. The guy, from what I heard, the guy started to pull his gun out and then got it before he got it all the way out and shot him with his own gun.
Okay. And that was after he had already been shot with Jose's gun.
Yeah, from what they told me.
Okay. What happened with the casings?
I don't remember if they collected the casings or if I collected.
Would you say it's a pretty traumatic experience and something that you had seen before?
Well, I didn't see it happen.
You understand what I'm saying? But let me put it this way.
No, it was definitely nothing else.
So if my buddy's asking me, hey, I need you to clean up some blood off the ground until I would was killed, I think I remember everything about that day, is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? It's not something that happens.
Yeah.
It's not like mom having to go to the grocery store.
And I did clean up the booth.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, I think I ended up picking up 6 kids.
6 casings.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do with those casings?
They ended up going in a garbage bag, getting thrown away.
Where? Whose house?
I didn't throw them away at the house. If I remember correctly, I threw them away at the Walmart.
I'm asking you another question. Okay. And it's not related to this case. But I know you have information on it. How many times have you seen Eric shoot somebody? Be honest with me.
That's the only time that I've seen him shoot somebody.
You sure about that?
That I remember.
If that incident happened on May 3rd, right there by the track 21.
Mm-hmm.
You and Eric are together in your truck. There's a guy named Richard involved.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be the same Richard here?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happened that day. You understand, I know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happened that day.
Yeah. What happened that day is we were, I don't remember, yeah, we were trying to sell some weed trick-or-treating.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his friends pulled a gun on Eric. I stayed in my truck.
Okay.
Juanita was in the back seat.
Okay.
I stayed in my truck. I had with me another one of Jose's grandfather's gun.
Okay.
Eric got out, got into their truck. You know, they were talking. I didn't know what they were saying. The guy in the passenger seat of Richard's truck pulls out a gun.
Okay.
And starts to point it at Eric. Eric catches it in the air, and they're kind of wrestling for it. So I take the gun that I have and I shoot through the window of the truck.
What happened after that?
I shot, I think it was twice.
Okay. And then what happened?
We end up Eric ends up, the struggle ends up ending, Eric hops back in the truck, and I ended up driving off. The guy in the passenger seat that had the gun stopped shooting at us.
Okay. You know who's in the passenger seat?
No.
No. Y'all were selling something like that?
Yeah.
Or were y'all buying something like that?
We were selling.
Selling something. What were y'all selling?
If I remember correctly, I think it was some of the weed that we got from him.
You know what happened with it? That guy that you shot at?
No,
You got it.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got it. I just, and that was the same Richard that bought the two guns. The guy who got shot by Eric in Jose's garage. His gun and Jose's grandfather's gun. That's the guy Richard that bought those guns.
Yeah.
Did you know that someone had gotten shot with those guns?
Did we? No, I don't think.
Yeah. You want some more water or anything? You good?
No, I'm not. I haven't got anybody else here.
You want something to snack on?
Yeah.
Give me a second, I'll be right back, okay?
With episode 1 in the books, in just 2 days, we will go back in time. Jose Varela will be confronted in episode 2 and will get a first-hand account about what happened when Z walked into the garage and the door closed behind him. If you enjoyed episode 1, make sure you hit the like button on your way out, and thank you for giving me your precious time checking out another episode of They Caught Me. Till next time.